Hi Daniel, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Doing well. So I guess we'll start. Just go ahead and say your school, your year, your major, where you're from, a little bit about yourself, just the classic intro.
Okay, so I'm Daniel Breland. I'm a junior in the business school studying marketing and management. I'm also an RA in Village A, so I get to live with like the basketball team and stuff like that. I'm from Burlington, New Jersey, so it's like South Jersey, kind of closer to Philadelphia than New York. A little bit about myself. So I started a YouTube channel in high school and actually linked up with this guy named Tre Melvin who has a YouTube channel. His blew up way more than, than mine did, but I did his theme song for his show. It's like a comedy show. And he ended up getting like 2.5 million subscribers and was getting like millions of views on his stuff. I wish that I had used whatever sort of marketing techniques that he was using to get his stuff out there. But a fun fact of mine is that my show was way less popular than his was. But
How old were you when this kind of came out?
I was like 15.
15, so it's been a couple years.
It's been a few years. It's been a few years.
So I guess we'll start just kind of general about your music. I guess your style and your genre, how would you describe those, and how would you describe your lyrics?
I would say genre, I try to genre bend as much as possible. I would say I'm very rooted in urban contemporary music, which would be R&B and hip hop mostly. I have kind of like I don't know, some of my influences are like more old school R&B. Like I'm a really big fan of Stevie Wonder, big fan of Marvin Gaye. So like I take lyrics very seriously as well. So other than that, I also do a lot of pop music, a little bit of rock, and I'm getting into like EDM as well. So I think for lyrics, as I said, I take lyrics very seriously. I started kind of just writing like poetry in my free time, and then got a little bit into writing raps. And then from there, as a singer, I started writing more songs. But one of the things that I thought was important is having, you know, clean lyrics that could be kind of generational, so like old people would want to listen to it because it means something, and young people would want to listen to it because it's current. You know, so I try to keep that in my mind when I'm writing, and I can talk about really anything from social issues that are relevant to me to, you know, different life experiences of mine, love songs, breakup songs, you know, stuff like that.
So I guess for you, would it be more of producing the lyrics or producing like the beat and the sound, or is it kind of a combination of both?
Yeah, so I actually work with a production team, and they do more of the like backing track stuff, I guess. They're Amazing's music group. That's amazing, but like instead of a G at the end, it's a Z.
Okay, got it.
We think we're cool. But yeah, they do a lot of my production, and will often send me a track, and then from there I'll listen to it and then see kind of how it makes me feel. And then try to come up with something off of that. So I do more of the lyrical and vocal melody, I guess, side of things, and then they'll do more of the beats and production aspect of it.
Okay, so I guess kind of the question of the hour, the contract that you recently signed.
Yes.
So what does that entail?
Yeah.
You know, how did you get it? How long does it go for? I guess like what are kind of the details of the contract itself?
Cool. So yeah, this summer I signed with an independent record publishing company called Water Music, and they're based out of North Jersey in Bloomfield. I had kind of been talking back and forth with them from like when the school year ended up until when I signed in August. And I got in touch with them actually because one of the guys in the Amazing's music group that I'm also a part of is very close with one of the, I guess, one of my label mates on Water Music. And so I was just kind of investigating, seeing what her experience was like with the label and what sorts of things they would have to offer. And so then I started meeting with, you know, with the CEO of Water Music, showing him some of the stuff that I had been working on, and I guess he saw promise in me as a writer, so we kind of got things going from there. It's a year-long contract, so I guess I would have the option to renew up to two times after, I guess, August. So I could be with Water Music for as long as 3 years altogether. But you know, we'll just see how the first year goes, and then from there. But the cool thing about Water Music is one of their main business models is kind of like finding undiscovered talent and then building up their resume and then pitching them to larger companies. Okay. So they have kind of like a joint venture as like a feeder, I guess, to Sony. So several of their writers and producers, after being with them for maybe a year or two, have gone on to sign with Sony ATV, which is Sony's publishing division for writers and producers, songwriters. So yeah, that's kind of what they do, and that's their plan for me. They want to have me for maybe a year or two, build up my resume, get me some songwriting credits and some placements, and then from there, see if they can try to negotiate a deal with a bigger company like Sony or Warner, which would be the plan.
That's nice. Sounds like they really have your back.
Yeah, definitely.
So I guess in terms of logistics, so if you have this contract for at least 1 year,
right.
I guess how often do you work on? I mean, you're a student who's involved in so many clubs on campus.
Right.
How much work does that take? How much are they expecting from you? How many songs per month? That kind of thing.
So that was one of the things that we left out of the contract, because some weeks I'm going to be a lot busier than others. And what I really appreciate about them is that they understand that I'm a student first and everything else second, because I need to get my degree. Music is kind of a tricky industry because you never really know how it's going to turn out. I could be a one-hit wonder. I could be, the next great songwriter of our generation. We don't know. But if for some reason things didn't work out with music, I need to have a degree kind of to back that up. So that's one of the things that my parents have kind of really pushed, I guess, for me in pursuing music. They're very supportive, but they've always stressed the importance of getting a degree above everything. So like the label understands that, which I think is good, because it allows me to be able to focus on schoolwork, especially during the week. And then on the weekend is kind of when I do more of my extracurriculars, which music would probably be the biggest of those. So I invested in some recording equipment this summer, so I kind of redid my living room in my apartment as like a small studio.
Oh, nice.
And so I've been recording a lot of reference tracks in there, so I don't have to travel as much back and forth from here to studios downtown or from here to New York or something like that, which I did a lot last year. But this year I'm mostly getting everything done from the comfort of my Village A apartment.
Yeah, how do your roommates feel about that? Are they like, Daniel, stop singing?
Yeah, I mean, we're all very busy and we're all singers, so they don't mind. Good. I mean, a lot of times they're not even around when I'm trying to record stuff, and if they are, like, they respect it. They're very, very cool about it. But as I said, we all sing. We're in the Georgetown Phantoms together, so sometimes I might even have them come in. My roommate, Ginu, is a great singer as well, so sometimes... Shout out. Sometimes I'll have him come in and sing some stuff with me just to keep things fresh. But yeah, they're super cool about everything that I'm up to.
Nice.
But in terms of like songs a month or things like that, every month Water Music will send me what's called like a Who's Looking list. And so that's a list of major label artists that are looking for songs. And so it'll often have, the artist name, who they're signed with, what type of music they do, and what type of song they're looking for. And so, for example, it might be Rita Ora is looking for, I don't know, a big pop song with a huge belty hook, right? And that would be the description. And so I look through the Who's Looking list each month and would try to find something that I think I could knock out. So, they're going to be sending me the list probably next week for September and October. And so I'm going to go through and I'll be like, all right, let's see. All right, I feel like doing EDM today. So I find an EDM artist, and I'm like, all right, cool, I want to do this. And so they have producers on the label, and then I also have, producers that I've worked with in the past through my other group, and they'll send me a track that they think fits, and then I'll try to come up with something, and then from there they'll shop it around to that artist or another artist that they think it would work for.
Okay, wow, that's awesome.
So it's kind of something, it's like not too regimented, it's kind of just something that, I feel inspired, and like, I guess the benefit is that, for a lot of the hip-hop music that I would be writing, like, rappers tend to write their own stuff. So all I would have to do is come up with a hook that maybe a singer would do. And so if I could come up with a hook and, if it hits me right away, I could come up with a hook in like 5 minutes, record it in 15 minutes, and then I've, done a song in like less than a half hour. Sometimes it takes a little longer than that. And then if I'm working on something that's not in hip-hop and I would be writing the whole song, that can take more time, a few hours, maybe even I have to take a break, come back, work on it a few days later. It just kind of depends. It depends on how I'm feeling. Sometimes I catch the vibe and then I'm just like in my zone and people are like, hey, Daniel, how are you doing? I'm like, don't text me, don't talk to me.
Don't talk to me right now.
Don't talk to me right now.
Yeah.
I'm in my zone. But yeah, other than that, like, it varies.
So I guess of all the lyrics you've written, what are some of your favorites?
Some of my favorite lyrics.
Maybe a line that you're really proud of.
Yeah, I mean, kind of in line with a lot of the police brutality and things that have been going on in the last few years, particularly in the Black community. I was feeling inspired to write a song about that and about as my experience as a Black man. So this one song, and it hasn't come out yet. Just a spoiler alert, I'm working on like seasonal EPs. I think I want to drop like 5 tracks just like myself, just because I also love singing as much as I love songwriting. So I'm working on my EP for the fall, and I want it to have kind of like, I want the theme to match, the theme of the project to match the season. And so like fall is unique because it starts out super nice outside and then gets a little darker. And so I want that to flow like with each track.
Sequentially, yeah.
Yeah. And so then my winter album would be like, maybe more emotional, a little bit more
older,
solemn. And then spring, like it would get warmer. And then summer, I would probably have like more fun tracks, like maybe party tracks, things like that. But that's kind of the theme that I'm going with right now. But this would be one of the ones for the fall EP, probably towards the end of the fall EP. And I had a line on there. It was very simple, but it was like, kind of, I don't know, it spoke to me. I was like, let's see. Life could be like an open box of chocolates, but it surely seems that though we fight, as the years are passing by, we're going back in time, and time could change. But it seems that every day we are stuck in our ways, and times could change, but time won't change. For the Black man, bum bum. For the Black man, bum bum. Oh, for the Black man, bum bum. It goes in, but like,
wow,
but like with the music behind it, it makes probably more sense as a song. But that was kind of how I was feeling at that moment. I was like, it's 2015, and we can talk about all the progress that we're making, and in a lot of ways we are. But I guess, how much progress are we making if I can't tell whether it's 1965 or 2015 when I turn on the news? And sometimes I can't. And so that's one of the things that I like to reflect in my music. And it's not always just about race. Sometimes it's about really any type of identity. And then sometimes it's just experiences that I've had. But that song in particular, I think, means a lot to me right now.
Wow, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I guess since you've signed this record deal, has anyone on campus been treating you differently, asking you a lot of questions, kind of been like the man of the hour?
I don't know. That's a trick question. I don't think anyone's been treating me differently. People have been very nice, though.
Okay.
People have been being very nice. I feel like, there's some people maybe I haven't seen since like freshman year or something, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey man, what's up?" Like, I call it the "Hey stranger" phenomenon. Like, it could be like, I'm just walking to maybe Leo's or something because I still eat in Leo's. But, then someone might be like, "Yo, what's up, dude? Long time no talk." I'm okay with it. I don't mind. Like, I don't think anyone is trying to like take advantage of me or anything like that. But I think the campus has been super supportive since I've gotten back. I've been having a great time.
Yeah, kind of going off that. You said something about being in the Phantoms. How else do you incorporate music into your Georgetown and I guess your DC as a whole experience? What do you bring to campus because of it?
I guess outside of Phantoms, I try to do little open mic nights, shows here and there when I get the chance. I did a show at Haverford College in Pennsylvania. Obviously, that's not in the DC culture,
That's okay.
but maybe I'll do a show at Georgetown at some point. I'm not sure. But I've done last year, and I'll be doing it again this year. They have like a boxing showcase on Healy Lawn. I don't know if you saw it last year.
I did.
Yeah.
It's confusing.
It's confusing. I'm like, what do they have this boxing ring for? But yeah, I'm going to be doing the national anthem for that again this year. Just different opportunities like that to get out and sing. And then sometimes it's as simple as I'll be in like a Healy Family Student Center music practice room, and then people will walk by, and I'm like, "Hey, come in and let's jam." And then we'll jam out. It can be impromptu, but I try to keep it light. I'm doing a lot of music all the time, and I don't ever want it to feel like a chore. I don't want it to ever feel like something that doesn't invigorate me or keep me going. And so I try to just do it when I'm inspired to do it, and not like, okay, I have to do music now. So when I'm like, hey, I totally want to write a song right now, like, I will drop everything and do that, depending on the day.
Yeah, nice. So I guess looking towards the future, what are your goals? Where do you see music playing a role in your daily life? Where do you see you going with music as a career?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something I want to pursue right now, among other things. To me, music is always going to be at my core, but what's more important to me is the change that I can affect with it. And so, you know, music gives people a platform. And as an artist or as a writer, if you have any sort of success in the arts, I feel like it's your responsibility to give back to the communities that have supported you. And so I think something that's important to me, my mom is an educator, and I think education is very important. And unfortunately, you know, with the way the public education has been in America, a lot of arts programs get cut, a lot of gym programs get cut. I want to bring those back because I think when people are able to express themselves physically or like artistically, emotionally, like that's how you grow as a person. And there's a generation, I think right now, there's a generation of kids who don't have arts programs. You know, they can't take a chorus class. They can't, you know, find their voice, as like cliche as that sounds.
No, yeah.
But that's something that I would want to bring back to those schools, you know, and that's in the arts, just because it means a lot to me, and having done like, you know, theater and like show choir and chorus in high school, and like being able to go out and perform here at Georgetown as well with, you know, the Phantoms and on my own, like I want other people to be able to try and have the opportunity to do that. So I think music is great, and I like to have songs that speak to social issues, as I said, and then just songs to make people feel good or feel something. But what's more important is like the tangible change that I can make outside of that. So music would be like a platform, I guess, to start maybe a nonprofit or something like that, to do that. And then I guess one of my loftier goals would be to start a record label of my own. And so I've had some experience with labels in the past, in particular 300 Entertainment, which is an independent label distributed through Atlantic Records. And I was able to meet with them last year. They have a couple big artists, Fetty Wap, who became very popular over the last year with his few songs. He's on their label. And actually, funny story, before they signed him, they showed me his Trap Queen song, like before anyone had really even heard it, other than outside of like Paterson, New Jersey. And they were like, "What do you think of this kid?" And I was like, "Well, he has one eye." And I was like, "That's unique." But also I was like, "Yeah, it's a pretty catchy song." Not saying that I had anything to do with them signing Fetty Wap, but just to see kind of before he blew up, like that's the process of like going out, finding people, finding a song that you think has potential, and now it's like double platinum or something crazy.
Yeah, right?
But yeah, I would love to start my own label, and that's part of why I've enjoyed being at Water Music so much, is because they're kind of a boutique label. They only have 7 or 8 songwriters signed to them right now, of which I'm one. So I guess I would want to start small, kind of like Water Music, and then, you know, build up and then maybe get distributed through a larger label. But everything about the industry, it's constantly changing because of the way that we consume music now. So, you know, back in the day, you might have a big name artist like Whitney Houston sell 10 million copies of an album or a song. But nowadays you can have a big artist like Beyonce or Rihanna sell like 1 million copies, and that's an accomplishment now. And it's not because their brands are smaller. If anything, their brands are bigger, but just the way that we consume their music is very different. And the music industry is like a few years behind because they haven't yet figured out, okay, people are consuming music quite differently. How can we kind of get ahead of that and make sure that everyone's getting paid?
Well, Daniel, thank you so much for all your answers so far.
Thank you.
It's clear that you're very down to earth, have a lot of goals that Georgetown as a community knows you can achieve. We're all very proud of you.
Right.
Is there anything else that you would like to add that you want the community to know about you or about your music that you think was left out?
I don't know. I guess just stay tuned. I've got a lot of cool stuff in the works right now, and I'm just trying to keep everyone informed so that they can support what I'm doing, or if they have any suggestions or ideas for things they would want to see me try. I'm very open to those as well. And I think Georgetown in general has been super supportive so far, and I love it. I guess if I have any parting words, they would probably be everyone here at this school is here for a reason. We all have a certain level of talent or greatness or whatever inside of us. And more broadly, we're all on this planet for a reason. That's something that I believe. And so I want everyone to find that thing that not only they're good at, or even if they're not that good at, the thing that drives them, the thing that they get excited about when they get up in the morning. Maybe it's medicine, maybe it's, maybe it's art, maybe it's the arts, maybe it's a sport that you play, maybe it's politics. Whatever that thing is that drives you, just pursue it 100%, because you never know what's possible. And if you doubt yourself and don't go for it, like, you're only cheating yourself. And I think everyone here is capable of a lot of great things. We've had presidents and, Bradley Cooper and, Justice Scalia, and, people come here who go on to do great things, but everyone can. And it doesn't have to be maybe at that level. It doesn't have to be that everyone knows who you are, but that whatever you're doing, you're giving it your all, and, you're kind of affecting the world in a positive way, is kind of my parting words. Yeah.